So you just bought a VR headset.
Brothers and sisters in VR.
Welcome. If you have just purchased a new VR headset, then you have come to the right place. But before we get into some things like game recommendations and whatnot, we're going to go over a few tips that will help make your VR experience the absolute best that it can be. First, we're going to make sure your game area has enough space to play. Most games will have a recommendation on the minimum amount of space required, and that can usually be found on Steam. Second, we're going to remove all tripping hazards. Third, now this is just my recommendation and is not necessary, but it helps provide some peace of mind while flailing around like a deranged octopus. Lay a bath mat down on the floor in the center of your gaming area and play barefoot or in socks, so you can feel when you have stepped out of the rectangle of safety and into the dangerous wall-punching territory. Your walls, hands, and controllers will thank you. If your ceilings are low, mind overhead fans and light fixtures. Flailing blind is one thing. Flailing blind with spinning blades is another beast entirely. The safety stuff is out of the way, so let's move on to making your first VR experience the most positive that it can be. First of all, VR is sweaty business, so dress comfortably. Not that comfortably. There we go.
Next, open a window or flip on the AC. You may feel fine now, but you won't after about 15 minutes of game time.
Before we move on to game recommendations, here's a few last-minute tips. First, taking off your headset to wipe sweat out of your eyes or fog off your lenses is extremely immersion breaking. I get around this by wearing a bandana to aid in airflow and keep the sweat out of my eyes. Next, wrist straps exist for a reason. Use them. I myself am guilty of not always putting them on, but I'm trying, okay? And finally, to ensure you have as many immersive hours of game time as possible, when you are not wearing your headset, make sure that wherever you store it, it gets absolute zero contact with sunlight. Because the lenses of your headset will turn your precious screens into ants in the hands of a future serial killer. So you have your room all set up, your AC is on, and you've slipped into something more comfortable.
Now what should you play? You should play whatever you want, but I will give some recommendations for beginners to provide the smoothest introduction to VR.
I will only be giving brief summaries of these games, as there are several, but these are some of my highest recommendations, ranging from easiest to most intensive. First and foremost, Beat Saber. Most people's first introduction to VR. Swing the totally not lightsabers at boxes to music. Ragnarok. Like Beat Saber, but with Viking themes and epic power metal. Super Hot. Matrix your way around incoming fire in slow motion and take out the bad guys. Shooting Arena VR. Timed gun courses that can really help you improve your accuracy in-game is a great stress reliever. Airborne. Fly like a superhero and shoot the bad guys to epic EDM. Moss. Third person in VR. Sounds weird, right? Highly recommended. The Room, a puzzling puzzler full of puzzles to keep you frustrated for hours, is great fun. Blast On, slow motion dueling in a wellspring of anxiety, is a roaring good time. The Dark Method, Van Helsing, Castlevania, and John Constantine wrapped up in a neat VR package. Carnage Chronicles, 1 to 4 player fantasy RPG adventure, has a steep difficulty curve and is a blast with friends. The Wizards, Dark Times, a spell-slinging good time in a beautiful fantasy setting with a smart-ass narrator. I love it. Sniper Elite VR, the butteriest sniping I have ever experienced in VR. These guys knew what they were doing when they made it. It is not without issues, but it is fun nonetheless. Half-Life Alyx, a story-driven wonder to behold, and to many the benchmark of what VR can attain. Wardust, Battlefield in VR complete with all the shenanigans you would expect and has a decent player base. Boneworks, a VR concept showcase with a dark side. It is great for stretching your VR legs and finding out what you are truly capable of. Pavlov, a VR staple for years. If you enjoy shooting zombies and NPCs as well as friends, this is the game for you. Blade and Sorcery. If you want to find out dark things about yourself, this is the game you want. Go get 'em, you sadistic bastard. Star Wars Squadrons, a breathtaking fantasy realized, and a great way to see if you have finally conquered motion sickness. Elite Dangerous, a legend of the flat screen world and an unbridled joy to be had in VR. Warning, sharp learning curve ahead. Of course, you can play whatever you like, but to me, these are among the best that VR has to offer. And don't be afraid to give our beloved indies a shot. There are some absolute gems that I have discovered simply by giving our boys a chance. And the indies are the only ones keeping VR going right now. So show them some love. Also, news in the VR world tends to slow to an unsteady trickle. If you want to stay abreast of everything that's going on in the VR world, then these are the channels that I think you should subscribe to. And I have linked them in the description. First and foremost, Virtual Reality Oasis, a charismatic Australian with all the latest tech demos and game reviews. Rejinx, a great source for news, some gameplay, and a voice that just makes me feel safe. Upload VR, the source for VR news. Mateo311, opinion pieces, game rankings, and news. Seems like a cool guy, with a heaping scoop of refreshingly brutal honesty. And so to our new brother and or sister in VR, welcome to this our virtual universe. We're glad to have you, and I hope to see you in game. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next one.